have been thinking about me as a family member. So I'm a wife, a mother, a grandmother, a daughter, a sister, a auntie, a niece. So I have all of these aspects of who I am in relationship to others. And that's important in knowing who I am. And I'm grateful that I know who I am. And it's important for me to know who I am. It's important for me to know how others encounter me in expressing who I am. So today, it's important for me in this YouTube segment to remind myself that I know who I am. I'm in relationship with my husband, my children, my grandchildren, my friends, my family members. And it's important also to be a very engaged family member, rooting on my children and their endeavors, um, celebrating with my grandchildren and their accomplishments as they end their school year. It's important as a family member to be connected. And in family, there are expectations, some that as a family member I'm aware of, and some that I'm not. And I have found in my course of years that sometimes people will place unrealistic expectations on me. And it's important for me to know the expectation, but it's even more important, I think, to make sure that the expectation is something that can be fulfilled. Um, so I am definitely a wife, a mother, a grandmother, a sister, a niece, a auntie, that has to really be engaged and have conversations and really be present. That to me, that's important for me as a family member, for me to be fully present. And also in being fully present, being authentic, being who I am, and sharing how I grow and what works for me and what doesn't. And that's what you do in a relationship. That's what family members do. That's how I perceive family members. Sadly, family members that we connect with sometimes can hurt you. And that has happened to me. Family members have hurt me. And I'm a big proponent, and those that know me very well, about trying to find very helpful ways to renegotiate the relationship, right? Sometimes you have to talk about those expectations, the ones that I know about, the ones that I didn't know about, but you definitely have to talk about expectations. You have to be a fully authentic family member. That's what I want to highlight today, is that as a family member, uh, I have certain aspects that my husband and my children and my grandchildren look for me in being relational with them, supporting them, calling and checking in. They check on me, supporting successes, walking along the journey when things aren't going well. So as a family member, it's important for me not to be hurtful to my family members. It's important for me to have conversations and dialogue and be present with them. I know currently with our social distancing, even before this was happening, and I'm so sad that it is happening, but before this pandemic happened and we were called as a community and a nation and a world to have social distancing, and many are finding creative ways to connect, that was something that I do. I am very, very, a priority for me is connecting with my family through texting, through social media, through calling, through cards, through letters. So as a family member, for me, it's important not only for me as a family member to engage and to celebrate and to support, but I like that support too. Many of you that know me very well um, hear me talk about reciprocity. And that's key. As a family member, there has to be reciprocity, there must be respect, there must be unconditional love, there must be dialogue, conversations, there has to be this component of interconnectedness. And yes, there's times as a mother, a wife, a grandmother, I step away and have quiet moments and connect with my sister friends, and that's important too, because as a family member and the roles that I display and love doing, I have to have time to reconnect, to be revived and refreshed. I It's challenging for me to engage family members that are not respectful, not engaging, not celebrating or walking in a journey with other family members. That's hard for me to really fully grasp and understand. But I try to really do the part that God asked me to do. And then I do agree, this came up a few weeks ago in a self-care segment that I did for my church. There are times we have to put boundaries around us, particularly if a family member is hurtful, if a family member is mean-spirited, if a family member is bringing a lot of drama and chaos. Definitely, I pray for those family members. I encourage those family members that display that kind of behavior to rethink how they are making their decisions. But there are times that I too have to put healthy boundaries in place when family members are not being respectful, not being kind, not showing empathy, not being loving, not being respectful. Text and a scripture out of the sacred biblical text that I meditate on and review a lot and read a lot is 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 7. I have to remember love is patient, love is kind, it doesn't keep a record of wrongdoing. I try my best to really engage that and to make that very applicable to my life. I usually, when there is a discord or a challenge among family members or friends, I'm usually the one that apologizes first. And in my family, I'm usually the one that reaches out first to call or to check in, usually. But that's who I am. But I do love to be supported as a family member. One thing I'm very grateful for among thousands of things, but this is one of 1,000 things I'm grateful for. I love that my husband and my children think of me and support me. And I like getting texts from my children, my grandchildren. I love that. I love when my sister or brother or sisters and brothers, nieces, nephews, I like to receive texts, and I like when I'm not always the initiator of keeping the relationship intact. It's very important in relationships and family structure to keep the relationship growing and nurturing. I remember when I was in seminary, I can't remember what class I was in, but I heard this quote from John M. Beatty: I am because we are. We are because I am. We as a nation, a community, in my family, I'm sure in yours, there's traditions that we all have and ways we connect. And as I said today in an earlier segment, we know those things that are very joyful about us and people love about us on an individual basis, but we also know those growing edges or those character flaws that need work. So today, if I can encourage anyone that is a family member that is not supporting other family members, you're not calling to check on your family members, you're not engaging, you're not returning phone calls, you don't return texts, you don't call. I don't know if that's really cool. I know it's not. It's not cool. You can't nurture and build a relationship by not connecting, not engaging. And then I also am a person like, tell me, hey, if you don't want to be bothered with me, tell me. Now, it might be hurtful because many of you that know me well know I'm sensitive. That's hurtful to know that, someone doesn't want to be bothered with you. But I'd rather, I guess, you tell me you don't want to be bothered with me than for me to keep connecting with you and you're not reaching back or even taking an initiative to connect. So I am grateful for who I am. I'm grateful for who God has called me to be. I'm thankful for the things in my life that help me to be who I am. My foundation, my faith in God is number uno. The support and love that we have as a family. Here in our family, we like to celebrate. We celebrate birthdays. We like to celebrate and connect. And that's important for me as a family member and for our family is to connect and to show up and to be present. Being present is awesome. You could be in a house with someone, but they not be fully present. Or you could be in a conversation with someone. And these days, I'm finding myself in a lot of Microsoft Teams, for example, for work and Zoom and house party. And sometimes you could be connected, but not present. So in the days ahead, kind of assess the kind of family member you are. Are you mean and hateful? Do you reach out? Is it always one-sided? It's your way or it's the highway. It has to be your way, how the relationship is nurtured. Can't be that way. As a family member, we should be caring and respectful and to remember reciprocity and compromise. And so in the days ahead, as I mentioned before, assess what kind of family member are you? What kind of wife? What kind of spouse? What kind of cousin? What kind of niece? What kind of grandmother? What kind of granddaughter? What kind of family member are you? Are you loving? Are you respectful? Are you kind? Are you fully present? We are a part of God's family. And it's important for us to make sure that we are honoring God and how we honor our relationships and the kind of family member that we are. It's not too late to grow and to reassess and reevaluate.